has been approved by EALA, the East African Legislative Assembly, is for the functioning of the EAC Secretariat, and also running some development projects and coordinating the infrastructure project, energy project, and even investing into researchers so that they can provide on feedback country member states on actually good or easiest area to invest. And most of this money also will go to, to ease the environment of attracting investors. So there are some research that will be conducted throughout the 6 countries of the ESC, probably 7, while DRC will be on board. And again, some of this money also will help the institution to run effectively so that it can coordinate daily activities of the East African community.
Yeah, and we are seeing that the 2019-2020 budget theme is transforming lives through industrialization and job creation for shared prosperity. Now, we see that job creation is actually usually the elephant in the room. It's many of these countries, many young people are not really employed. So what will be done?
Not only the East African community, the entire world now is actually looking at creating and easing environment to attract so many investors so that members, citizens of the community can easily access the job. We are living in the world where the wealth is in the hands of the minority people, whereby the majority are poor. So the EAC trajectory, orientation, the SADC, West Africa, the entire world is trying actually to reverse the curve and bringing everyone to access jobs. So this goes hand in hand into easing the environment of job creation and attracting more investors so that people might access a job. And actually, if you look at individual country states of the East African community, and that's why even the theme for the entire East Africa is one theme: creating jobs, industrialization, because the EAC is convinced that the more we attract investors, the more we set up industries, and the more we create jobs. That's how actually we will make our region, our economic blocks, a little bit healthier in terms of economic perspectives.
Yeah, and we're also seeing one of the main focus for this year's budget is to promote the intra and trade. Yet we're seeing that there are some member countries who have tensions. You know, Kenya, Tanzania, we have Uganda, Rwanda. Won't this be a barrier?
Yes, I remember 5 years ago, member states, the East African countries sat and decided the orientation of all of us, where we want to achieve, what we want to achieve, and where we need to reach. Because all of us, we said we need a prosperity region, and together, no one shall left behind. And this was, it is still a slogan, but this is what head of states adopted 5 years ago. Now, despite this, what the EAC head of state agreed, of course, we have some tension that rose some 2 or 1 years ago. So, but again, East Africa vision remains actually to have a very prosperous regional blocks and very developed economic blocks, whereby all citizens of the East African community will equally enjoy the right of free movement of people, intra-trade, and free movement also of goods and services, whereby a citizen of Uganda or Kenya will freely move to Burundi, to Tanzania, establish a business there, living there without any barriers that prevent him actually to do some economic activities such as businesses and everything. Also to ease, the free movement of production that is produced in Rwanda to be able to export it to Uganda or to Tanzania freely, and and also an equal treatment. And you've heard about it. Recently, the president of Kenya announced that all citizens of East Africa will be equally treated as Kenyans while in Kenya. And I think this is something good, good move that other member states of the EAC should also replicate the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and where will the funding come from? I mean, 111 million US dollars is a lot of money.
Yes, this money comes from member states. So every country has an obligation to contribute from its own budget to avail or allocate some money going to the functioning of the East African community. This is an agreement between the 6 countries of the EAC. But unfortunately, there are some countries which are not meeting their commitments. We've heard about Burundi and Southern Sudan really striving to pay the areas just to meet their commitments. But again, I can also ask myself, or maybe ask you, I don't see if, the future of this, the community, when we do still have some political tensions.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure, yes. Yeah, we aim high. We have an ambitious vision. Where actually we want to implement the 283 projects in terms of energy, road construction, agriculture, and whatever, so that we can create a very viable environment for our citizens. But again, we are in a situation whereby crossing a border from Rwanda and Uganda is an issue today. So I think the EAC also, when they are approving this budget, they should also invest in terms of bringing people to sit together and discuss about the future of the region in terms of peace building and actually to appease the existing tensions.
Yes, and you've actually touched on some of the member countries not paying what they're supposed to pay. And we've seen that in recent years, the Secretariat has said it has inability to conduct their affairs due to lack of financing. Now, what are some of the alternative sustainable financing methods that you'd suggest that they follow, sustainable?
There is no any, an escaping way. Countries that formed the EAC should be paying their, their commitment to the EAC. And this is really feasible. It's actually a small contribution regarding their respective budgets. We don't, countries doesn't pay a lot of money to the EAC. But again, the EAC also should, in terms of, mitigating this gap, to see how they can reduce, the number of employers and the chunk of money that goes to the recurrent expenditures. It should also be, it shouldn't be exorbitant. It should be actually consider even country rates, not really somebody who is going to work at EAC to be paid as an expert or a foreigner. So we are working on regional integration, and also the regional integration should also meet, the living condition and standard of citizens of that region.